This video is going to give you an overview of what we're going to be doing throughout the semester in case that's something that's important to you, trying to wrap your mind around what to expect for these 16 weeks. So the first thing that I want to think about is writing. So this is a writing class, so there'll be lots of writing in here. The next thing I want to talk about is reading. So in addition to this being a writing class, we are going to be doing reading. Also research. There is going to be a couple of research projects. I'm going to walk you through that process. And then last but not least, critical thinking. There will be other areas we go into, such as study skills, test taking skills, things like that. But those are the four things I really wanted to talk about because those are going to be what really guide the content, the skills, and processes in this class. So within writing, what we're going to be doing is preparing. One of the things is preparing for the WPA, that big writing exam that you take once you reach 60 units. That's an important landmark because that determines your writing pathway after that, after taking that class. So you can check out the websites that are available for more information about that. But depending on your score, that can maybe add another class, or you can test out of having to take another writing class if you score high enough. Also, with this class, we hope that you're gaining writing skills for your other classes so that when you get a paper, when you have a test or something like that, you're able to use the skills that you gain in this class and use them in that class, use them in those contexts. Another thing is not just academic skills, but also practical skills. So you're gaining writing skills you can use in professional contexts and even personal contexts. And one of the big things in this class is at a more rhetorical level, we're going to be starting out with synthesis writing and building upon that. So you're going to build upon taking multiple ideas and bringing them together. That's going to be your foundation. And then you're going to see how you build upon that to produce research writing. All right, so as far as reading, one of the big important things is that the reading gives you content for the course writing tasks. The goal is that you have something to write about. And while I'm not an expert in the content that we'll be using in this class, I am an expert in guiding you through reading and texts and also helping you write about those texts. So we're hoping that you're going to be able to gain transferable skills for reading, questioning, and other things, and other skills and for other coursework. So you can practice academic reading, you can understand the rhetorical devices that the authors are using, because sometimes it can be very subtle and certain techniques that the writer might be using might not be apparent at first. All right, so that is reading. I want to go on to the next category, and that category is going to be research. So in this class, another big content is going to be research and this research project. So giving you some kind of goal to work towards with your writing. So you're going to learn the research process, which you've probably seen in other classes. And this is specifically going to be a social science research project, and I'll get more into that later. As well, you're going to be learning about doing library research, how to use the resources and the personnel that are available to you as a university student so that you can find good articles and good information. So also, as well, in addition to that, you are going to be conducting some of your own original research as a group project. So that's going to be an exciting process that you're going to be able to do, and then also write about it. So you'll be giving an opportunity to write about and analyze the things that you discover with your original research that is social science research. Also, we're hoping that this research process is going to give you an opportunity so that you can apply different parts of this research process outside of this class. So you can maybe apply it to other classes and practical environments. One of the great things about San Diego State is they really do encourage their students to pursue research as undergrads and, of course, as graduate students. So, if you have questions about that process, please ask me. Also, there's a lot of resources out there, but the goal is with this class, you learn this research writing so that if you do have an interest in research, what you can do is you can find a mentor and you come with the skill of research writing so that you can focus on the data, on the research with your mentor, and you don't have to focus as much on the writing. So that is a part of this goal. A goal of this class is to give you that exposure so that you can understand if this is something that's for you, something that you're interested in. And last but not least, a big goal of this class is critical thinking. So the idea is synthesizing. So you can kind of look at a bunch of different sources and bring together the different ideas from those different sources and see the common patterns among them and maybe even see how they're different. So you can kind of compare and contrast. Another thing is rhetorical analysis. So that means that you can read an article, you can understand what the goals, what the motives are, what's happening in that article or whatever you happen to be reading, so that you're thinking critically about it, you're understanding it. Another thing that we hope you'll be able to do from this class is interpreting and analyzing data, especially when you're doing your original research project. You're going to come back with some answers and some data that we want you to be able to analyze. While this class won't involve advanced data analysis, this is a good starting point so that you can begin to think about what the implications of results you find are. Another thing is determining the source's credibility. So that means you can look at a person, look at an article, look at a book, see what that source is saying, and you can determine whether or not, or have a better understanding about whether or not you should believe the information from that source. Next, we also want to think about learning to ask the right questions. So that means that you can look, this goes back to, I think, kind of determining the source's credibility, that you're able to ask the right questions about that source to think about, is this going to be helpful for me? Can I trust this? Is this accurate? So this is also part of critical thinking. All right, so let's get to the big picture. All of these things are going to come together. So the reading, the writing, the research, and the critical thinking are all going to be coming together in your major writing projects. So the first writing project is your explanatory synthesis. The second writing project is a library research project. And then the third writing is going to be original research. So let's look a little bit at each of these so you can kind of understand a little bit more about how they're different and how they're the same. So the explanatory synthesis, again, that's going to be your first thing, then the library research, then the original research. The explanatory synthesis is on the topic of advertising. We're already starting to read our first article on that. And the writing technique is going to be synthesizing class readings. Paper number 2 is going to be a library research article. The topic is going to be corporate responsibility. And the writing technique, one way to think about it is synthesizing class readings and library readings. So you're building upon the skill you use in paper 1 and still including that skill, but you're adding another skill. You're looking for new articles and you're bringing those ideas in. You're reading those articles on your own and thinking about whether it's a good source. You're not going to get the same kind of guidance that you are going to get with the articles from the first paper, and you're not going to get the same guidance as you are going to get with the class readings for the second paper. So the library readings is it's an opportunity to be a little bit more independent and push yourself a little bit more. The final paper, the library research, the topic is going to be news media. And in that paper, you are going to be writing about your research experience. So you are going to be carrying out the research process. And then in your writing, you're going to write about that in a specific format. And part of the challenge there is that you're going to be synthesizing the class readings. So those articles that we're going to read together, and you're going to also be synthesizing library readings. So you're going to be finding articles from the databases like you did in paper 2. And then also add on top of that the results from your original research. So it's getting more and more removed from something that is structured so that you are doing original ideas, original analysis, and everything. So I realize that's a very brief overview, but I just wanted to let you know what to anticipate so that you're gathering the skills now that you need. The skills that we're doing right now, those are going to be used in the future in the class. So try and take notes, try and notice what we're doing earlier in the semester because we're building upon these ideas. We are going to be using them throughout the semester. Let me know if you have any questions. Otherwise, check the sources. If this doesn't all make sense now, that's totally okay. I want to give you this preview if this is something that you're trying to understand and wrap your mind around. But if it feels a little bit lost and you're not worried about it, I would say you're in a good place. Don't worry about it too much. But this is there for those that do have those questions, those that do want to know. All right, so that's your overview of the semester. Let me know if you have any questions, and thanks for watching.